Hello, everyone, and welcome. Oh, shoot, I forgot to get my lights on, but while I'm doing that, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contested Jumper podcast. Thank you for joining in. Hopefully, you all are having a great day up to this point. Let's go ahead and rock with a nice little blue there. All right, so I had to get that going. Sorry about that, but got my little coffee this morning. I'm not a huge coffee guy all the time, just every once in a while, like once, twice a month maybe. So peppermint mocha right here. If you guys have ever tried this, let me know. If you've not, go cop this. It's actually really good. So first thing I wanted to get into instantly today, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about the Denver Nuggets. So the thing is with the Nuggets, obviously, if you've been around the channel for a little bit, you know I made a video on the Nuggets a little bit ago about their struggles early in the season. Jamal Murray not looking like himself, and the bench just being an absolute mess. Russell Westbrook not playing well. So since then, I don't think the Nuggets have lost a game. Naturally, of course, right? But I just wanted to say I do apologize, especially to. Because, well, the thing is, I didn't say as much negative about Nikola Jokic, so I don't have a lot to apologize to him about, but he is no doubt right now the best player in the entire world. He is the best basketball player on planet Earth right now, and there is no debate for that. Giannis has been playing very well as well, but just due to the winning and the complete impact that he has right now on the game, and especially because they just played without him last night, and they were a mess on offense, so I'm going to go ahead and just say it. He is the best player in the world. Jamal Murray, in a couple of these past games since he's been back from injury, he has looked very, very good. A lot of those step-back mid-ranges we're familiar with from him. Very, very good. So I'm happy to see that. It's just I was very worried for this team, so I do apologize. I was wrong early in the season about how they were going to perform. Michael Porter Jr. is back to shooting like himself, 41% from three again. Which is his career average. And before, if you remember in the video, I said he was down 10%, so he brought that up. And a 10% jump like that over a couple games is very impressive. So Christian Brown as well has been shooting the three. And my biggest thing for him is I said he was scared to shoot the three ball. What did he do? He came out and he started shooting it with confidence, and he started making it. He's shooting 50% on the season from three. So shout out to Christian Brown. And the thing is, people were telling me like, oh, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you don't understand the dynamic of this team. I'm looking forward to an apology video. Okay. First off, this is not a Nuggets channel. Not every video will be about the Nuggets, okay? If I make a video about the Nuggets, if I'm wrong, I might talk about it on here, but I'm not going to go make every video about the Nuggets, you know? So I wasn't going to do that, and I was not entertaining some of the stuff people were saying in the comments. I was just like, okay, you guys completely missed the point, but someone did end up commenting something pretty good that they were like, as a Nuggets fan, you know, I was worried for this team as well, people not playing like themselves. He's like, but that big win over the Thunder, because the video came out like 3 hours before they played the Thunder. So, of course, they ended up winning that game, a very thrilling game. So, shout out to them for doing that. And it was probably their biggest win of the season, that game, and then of course the Mavericks game as well. Two huge wins for them. So shout out to the Denver Nuggets. I am very, very happy with how you guys are playing now, and especially because the whole point of that video wasn't you guys suck. The point of the video was you guys are not playing well, and you have a lot to work on to be back to where you are, and they've worked on a lot, and they've changed up some things, and they're heading back in the right direction. So shout out to Denver. But another thing I wanted to talk about so far was just the injuries in today's league. So there are so many injuries right now, okay? So I made a list, just my personal list of players that are injured that are very significant to the game, okay? So Trae Young just came back from injury. He was out. Paolo is still out. Kevin Durant's still out. Kawhi has not played basketball yet. Embiid has only played like 2 games. Porzingis hasn't played. Chet Holmgren's out for months. Isaiah Hartenstein, he's still out. Desmond Bane, he just came back. Last night he played. Ja Morant is out. Chris Middleton's out. The Pelicans, like top 6, 7 guys on the roster, except for Brandon Ingram, are all out. It's just like, I feel bad for him. Like, you got Zion, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, Jose Alvarado, DeJounte Murray, Jordan Hawkins, all of them out. It's just ridiculous. And then you got Tyrese Maxey out. You got the load management problem of the Sixers. So with him out, when he's out, all you have is Jared McCain on the court trying to lead the team because you don't have anyone else. Paul George and Joel Embiid sitting out of back-to-back, so you're kind of screwed when it comes to that, and they're so far down on the standings, and I don't know exactly where they're at in the standings because I look at them every once in a while, but I probably should look more than I do. They're 14th. They're 2-10. So 2-10 is obviously not good, but for them to get up to a top 6 seed, the funny thing is they're 11 games back from first, so they are only 3.5 games back from the 6th seed at 2-10. That's disgusting. That shows you how butt the East has been this year. But the list continues. Malik Monk's out, DeRozan's out, Scotty Barnes is out, Emmanuel Quickly is out, and that's just the super notable players. That doesn't include extra role players and stuff. Like we saw James Wiseman have an Achilles injury in like the first or second game of the season. And there's just so many players out. It's honestly really hurting the hype of this regular season because we have so many star players out that it's like some of these teams just can't compete how they would. Now, the Magic are one team I'm shocked that they're on a 5-game winning streak, but it's because of Franz Wagner playing at an elite level, especially offensively. And I think defensively, they do look a little better without Paolo. But offensively, they do struggle some, but it's because you don't have that elite scoring, playmaking option. So when he's off the court, it's just Franz. And don't get me wrong, Franz is a good scorer, good playmaker, but when Paolo's there, it opens up the game so much for him because he's not the number one scoring option. And then, look, this season, Franz is averaging 22 and shooting 34.6, so 35% from three will round up for him. That's an improvement on last season, and his scoring volume has obviously gone up because you have no choice. So shout out to the Magic as well for that. I hate how many injuries are in this league because it honestly has ruined a lot. And I'm not 100% sure. Evan Mobley did not play in the Cavaliers last game. I don't know why. So he was illness. Okay, so we're good. I just wanted to make sure that it was not an injury because if that was, that would suck for them because that's one of their, so other than the two guys in the backcourt, that's probably their third scoring options, Evan Mobley. So I'm glad he's not hurt. I didn't watch a lot of that Cavs game last night, Cavs Bulls. I kind of watched some of it, but with how many games were on, I tried to keep up with some of them, but it's just hard, and especially because of TV blackouts and stuff, it's just hard to keep up with it because on League Pass, I can have 4 games on this screen, but it's just hard to keep up with a lot of games when they're not all on League Pass. So I just do my best, and yeah. So other than that, the injuries have seriously kind of half the starters, it feels like, are out. Like it's really ruined the beginning of the season for a lot of teams. So I feel like the East as well. So when we look back at that list I made, a lot of those names are stars of the East. Like Maxey being out, Scotty Barnes being out, Trae Young being out, Paolo. Like a lot of these names being out is seriously hurting their teams. Especially Paolo. I do believe that the Magic would have probably 2 to 3 more wins with him there. So they would probably be up there close to Boston. They're right behind them, but they're 2.5 games back. They'd probably be half a game back or something if they were having Paolo on the team still, if he was still out there. So, but no, it really hurts me to see all these injuries because, you want everyone to be healthy. And the whole point of like predictions of the NBA season and everything is like, you're hoping most people are healthy. You try to account for certain guys missing games, but I'm not going to go out and say, oh, this guy's going to tear his meniscus. He's going to be out the whole season. I don't do stuff like that because that's such a weird thing to try to predict anyway. And obviously I don't hope for that on anyone, but when there's so many guys out, it just kind of throws off everyone's predictions. Like if anyone had the Pelicans in the top 10 even, they're probably screwed because their whole top 6 except for BI is out. So Just really sucks to see for them. And uh, so a lot of these, at least a lot of the guys, the younger guys, are healthy right now, and that helps. But still, there's a lot going on, and it really does bug me. So another thing quick I wanted to talk about, I really did, was the Lakers. So last night they took down the Spurs in a very, very good game, actually. So I watched a good amount of this game. So and I do take notes. So I like to take notes on the games that I watch just to have extra stuff to talk about as well. But Wembanyama starting off the game looked really good. They had Cam Reddish starting, which was not good. Sorry to Cam Reddish, but that was not a very good performance from him. He, especially offensively, was just kind of not providing anything. Defensive side of the ball, a couple of times he would just close out late, get scored on, and stuff like that. But other than that, once they got like Gabe Vincent in there, and D'Angelo Russell even was playing pretty solid defense for a decent amount of this game. So Wembanyama, they were just kind of forcing some turnovers on him, and he did look pretty good out there, Wembanyama, but you can tell playing against a big dominant center like Anthony Davis, it is one of his weaknesses, like as we saw last year against Embiid when Embiid had 70. You can tell, obviously it wasn't to that extent, but there was a couple times, like one of the times down the court, Wembanyama runs down the floor after turning the ball over, and Anthony Davis is on the block, and you know who he's posting up? Chris Paul. And Chris Paul is like probably the smallest player on their roster. So it's disgusting when he's posting up Chris Paul, and Wembanyama was just standing probably just above the free throw line, and he's just looking around, and he's just like, oh, shoot, I got to get there. And then by the time he even starts walking over there, Anthony Davis is already at the basket. So, but the Lakers, their paint defense looks good. And I will say this about LeBron. One thing I really wanted to talk about with him is I think LeBron, he seriously makes things a lot easier for this team when he's playing great defense. And I think not having the scoring load on him, not forcing him to score 25, 30 points a night, it makes things a lot easier for him on the defensive side of the ball, because he doesn't have to go out there and he doesn't have to put his whole effort in on offense, so he's tired on defense. It looks like he's actually out there giving a good effort on defense, and obviously his playmaking, rebounding, especially when Anthony Davis was out of the game, you know, he'd just get a board, run down the court, throw a bounce pass like between the defenders and stuff to go get an open look. And I'm impressed with how LeBron's been playing. And 4 straight triple-doubles, the longest triple-double streak of his career, and the dude's almost 40. So you got to give him at least a little bit of applause for that. So seriously, great game though. And overall, not just that game was good. The Kings game and the Kings game against the Timberwolves was incredible. So if you guys did not hear, De'Aaron Fox had 60. My guy had 60 points. I don't know. It just kind of came out of nowhere. So he was cooking up a little bit, like, to go throughout the game. He was playing well, and then once it kind of hit the fourth quarter, he ended up going to the rim every single play, it felt like, and he would just rim run and get past whoever was. So he'd run a Sabonis pick and roll a lot of times, because Sabonis is a very good screener, but he would just kind of run past him, and Rudy Gobert always in drop coverage. So what would happen is De'Aaron Fox would either pull up or like throw up a floater, or he would kind of get up there, and by the time Rudy Gobert would step up to kind of challenge him, he would move, and because De'Aaron Fox is one of the fastest players in the league, he would just kind of make a quick move around him, and there was nothing he could do about it. He could not stop De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox, though, 60 burger for the guy. I feel bad that they lost the game, but no DeRozan, no Malik Monk, and the thing is, they just overall as a team did not play super well. I was not very thrilled. Anthony Edwards, though, in the clutch, came up big, couple huge buckets, super contested 3. I don't even know how it went in. When it went in, I was like, of course he made that. I wanted the Kings to win. For those of you who do not know, I'm a huge DeRozan guy, so I wanted the Kings to win anyways, and they unfortunately could not pull it off. Keegan Murray airballed a three down the stretch, and so rebounding wise, he has taken a leap. It just feels like his scoring, his 3 point, like his 3 point shot especially, has taken a slight like regression almost, because it just hasn't been the same. I don't know what changed or anything, but he just has not been shooting like himself. So I hope Keegan Murray will get that back together. And it looks just like De'Aaron Fox seriously was the only offensive option that could do a lot. Now Sabonis was doing a great job. He was knocking down some 15-footers, but he shot a couple threes, and I was just like, dude, no, we don't need a Sabonis three. Now I would have personally rather had Keon Ellis taking those, but unfortunately, everyone was kind of out of rhythm this game. So Sabonis though did play pretty well, but they were attacking him in the paint a lot of times, especially Anthony Edwards. But other than that, very very good game. Julius Randle also super physical against De'Aaron Fox, and it was really nice to see that battle of overtime, because you don't see the best players guarding each other very often. Overtime, every possession, Anthony Edwards against De'Aaron Fox, every single time, that's exactly what we got. We got those two guarding each other, and that is what I miss sometimes about basketball, is those exact duels between the players. So back in the day, LeBron and Carmelo Anthony, those two, or LeBron and Kevin Durant even, they'd guard each other a lot of times, and we don't see that anymore. We don't get to see that. It's like, oh, well, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and we're the Timberwolves, so instead of putting Anthony Edwards on him, we'll put Jaden McDaniels on him. It's just like, I understand it because it's your best, theoretically, it's your best matchup, but I miss that. I really do miss the best players guarding each other. But looking at De'Aaron Fox's shot chart, so many points in the paint, couple free throw line jumpers, floaters, stuff like that, but so many looks right at the rim. Super, super good job from him this game. And 60 ball, the highest scoring outburst of the season. We've had three other 50 pieces. We had Paolo had 50 against the Pacers. We had a 59 from Giannis, and that was against the Pistons, and that was an incredible performance as well. And then, who was the other 50 ball? I am struggling right now. Oh my God, who was it? Am I stupid? I swear, someone had 50 a couple of nights ago. It was the same as the Giannis one. Someone had 50. I know Kat had 46, but while I'm trying to remember, I don't know why, my mind is just blanking. I woke up a little bit ago, so I'm just... Oh, Wemby. Wemby had 50. Sorry, Wemby. But yeah, Wemby had 50, 59 from Giannis, and it was just very incredible, though, that we've already had 3 50-point performances, and now we got a 60. So, shout out to De'Aaron Fox. I love that from you, man. And just seeing some of these NBA Cup games has been really, really good. The NBA Cup is very competitive, and I think people really underestimate how competitive this thing is. It seriously is. It brings so much atmosphere. It literally feels like playoff games in some of these games because of how, like, when the game's close and everything. I like it a lot, so very, very happy with how it turned out. So just looking at the group so far, the Warriors are 2-0 in their group, which that looks like it's going to be theirs to lose. I mean, when I say theirs to lose, I mean they're in the lead, like they're pretty far and above everyone else. Jokic missed the game against the Pelicans as well, so they lost that. So now Denver's playing catch up, and they have to play against the 3 actual hardest teams in the group. Unless Ja Morant's not there, then you can make that argument, but still. Then they have to play, against Dallas still, and they have to play against the Warriors. So, going to be a struggle for them. So, I'm going to go ahead and say the Warriors will probably win that group. And as long as they beat the Pelicans again as well, they'll be 3-0. So, they'll be pretty far ahead of everyone else. Group B, the Thunder and the Lakers and the Suns as well. So, the Suns just lost to the Thunder. Devin Booker had a terrible first half, did not score in the first half. Uh, I think, me personally, I thought Devin Booker was going to have a good game because I was like, he has no choice. The Suns team has no Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal was out as well, I believe. So it's like he could not get anything going, and that is all due to the elite perimeter defense of the Thunder, Lou Dort and Kaysen Wallace, and even Shea at times. I'm not going to say all the time, but in J-Dub at center has been very good, and Nurkic did not make a field goal in that game. So I'm really thrilled with how the Thunder are playing. J-Dub at center is so nasty. So other than that, the Rockets have been very good this season, and every time they played the Clippers, they come out there and they win it in convincing fashion. So 21-point win for them. The Hawks are 2-0, and that is without Trey. No, Trey Young did play. I'm sorry, I keep saying he didn't play. He didn't play against Boston, and they won, but they just beat Washington, and he was there for that. He didn't play the greatest, I don't think, but the Pistons 2-0 in their group as well. Magic 2-0. Knicks. Sorry, I don't mean to yawn. Magic and Knicks both 2-0 in their groups. And those two will play each other in the last game. So I'm hoping they both win their next game. So it's literally determined by game 4. So I think if that's the case, that'll be one of those super entertaining games to watch. So other than that, NBA Cup has been very good. So Adam Silver, you cooked with that one. So shout out to you. I need to get a drink. I don't know why. When I cleared my throat, it actually did the opposite. So anyways, as I was saying, it looks like the NBA Cup has been very eventful, and there's been a lot of good games. That Warriors-Mavs game was very, very good. So I was really happy to see that. And I think that's going to be a good matchup, and especially because we've seen that in the playoffs before. If we get that as a playoff series, Mavs and Warriors, that would be a really good playoff series. I believe so. But other than that, we got Nets and Knicks last night. The Nets kept it close. Cam Thomas could not miss, but game winner from Jalen Brunson. Finally, a clutch game from the Knicks where they won. So far this season, they have not been good in the clutch. I think on the broadcast they had said they were 1-5 in clutch games this season, which is where it's within 5 points with 5 minutes left to go. So that's bad, 1-5. But Mikal Bridges also big block to end the game. So I'm really happy with that. And of course, I hope there's no background noise. If there is, I'm sorry. But other than that, no, I just want to I want to talk about some players that are very much taking the league by storm. So the first player I have is Bilal Coulibaly on the Wizards. So very good start to the season from him, averaging 15 points a game, shooting almost 55% from the field. What a guy. I mean, he's doing everything, playing great defense as well. And he's so versatile. I mean, he's obviously big. He's 6'6", and he's long wingspan. I can't give you does it say his wingspan? No, it does not. His wingspan off the top of my head, I do not know. But very, very good player for this team. And I think Washington has a direction going forward with him now. And Sarr has not looked great so far, but I think it was his best game of the season last night. He had like 20 points and like 7 rebounds so against the Hawks. And then Jordan Poole as well. Jordan Poole has looked a lot better this year. I have his stats down as shooting 46%, 44 from 3, and 92 from the line. So pretty good season from him. And, I mean, he's averaging 22 points a game. So that is good for Jordan Poole, and especially after the terrible year he had last year, I'm glad to see him playing better. There's just some times where his shot selection is still very questionable. Like, it feels like sometimes he shoots shots that are heat check shots, and he's not even hot yet. He's just shooting a heat check shot. I don't know if that's just me that sees that, but that's one of the things I've always kind of seen from him. Next up, I have Zach Edey. I wanted to talk about big Zach Edey. the biggest guy in the league, really. Zach Edey, great season from him so far. Started off really rough, just kind of got played off the court, fouled out really early in his first game. I think it was in like 12 minutes he fouled out in his first game, but averaging 11.5 points, 7 boards, and he's getting to his spots. Hey, he's shooting 67% from three. I don't know how he's doing it, but Zach Edey, seriously, really good season from him. I'm kind of surprised just because I'll be honest, I thought he was going to get abused more, especially on offense, just the fact that he couldn't shoot going into the season. But the fact that he's taken a couple of threes already and he's made them is huge for them. So totals, does it tell me? He's 6 for 9 from three. So I didn't realize he had shot that many, but 9 threes already and he's made 6 of them. Can you imagine if he gets his attempts up to like 2 per game and he's shooting 50%? That would be insane for this team. So Zach Edey, great year from him so far. I'm happy with how he's playing because against some of these other bigs, he's actually holding his own. Like Anthony Davis, when the Grizzlies played him, they kind of threw the game away at the end because of Zach Edey being a little slow to close out on Anthony Davis, or like LeBron blowing past him. But that's also LeBron, so not a lot he can do there. But I think just the speed of him on the defensive side of the ball is the one thing I'd be worried about. But other than that, no, he's been incredible. Just his touches, getting to the basket, and those little hook shots he shoots. Even in college, those things were unstoppable and come right to the league, and they still can't guard him. So Zach Edey, big game, big performances from you. And then also, speaking of big performances, the man they call Kling Kong, Donovan Clingan, had 17, 12, and 8 against Minnesota. They won back-to-back against the Timberwolves, the Trailblazers did. And I think the biggest thing from Clingan is playing at a team like UConn. He learns a lot of how to run those, not just the sets that they run, but as a playmaker, he's going to learn a lot just from being in that, and just screen setting as well is very good from him. So shooting 53%, 6 points a game. Obviously, he hasn't played a lot. He's started twice, and that's because of the absence of DeAndre Ayton. So super performances from him. I'm really happy with a lot of these rookies. They said this rookie class was weak, and I guess they mean it in a sense there's not like a superstar, but it also makes you more appreciative of these good performances. Like when Zach Edey had like 25 and 12, everyone was like, oh my God, he's insane. So stuff like that, it makes it more fun when there's not just one guy that's high and above the rest. No one had any idea who the rookie of the year would be. Some people were like, oh, Zach Edey. Some people were like, oh, Reed Shepherd or Bub Carrington. And it's just, there's a lot of different players that people really thought would be rookie of the year. And the fact that it's still not known because of how well people have been playing, I think so far it might be Zach Edey, but I'm not 100% sure. And then another guy that's been seriously torching the league, you guys probably have all known this, Norman Powell. Shout out to Norman Powell. So he just had a bad game, probably his worst game of the season. He only had 8 points against the Rockets, 3 for 11 from the field. And the one thing I kind of took from this game is he just kind of looked off rhythm on his shots and like off balance. Like his jump shot didn't look fluid like normal, so he'd shoot like a sidestep or like a pull-up three or something. And it almost looked like he was just a little off balance every time he shot it. And he was just missing all of his shots from out there. He had one catch and shoot corner three, which he looked in rhythm for, but all of his off the dribble shots, he did not look in rhythm for. So other than that, the Clippers have just been very mid so far. They started off the season very strong, and they kind of just evened out since then. But Norman Powell on the year, 23.5 points a game. 50, 48, or 49, 48 splits. I'm sorry. I wanted to round it up, but it was 49.3. But 49, 48 splits is insane. Almost 8 3-point attempts a game, and the dude's shooting close to 50%. I'd love for him to make an all-star team this year. That would be insane, but it would just, I don't know how that would work in the West right now. But with all the injuries, it's possible. If Norman Powell's an all-star this year, I'd be so happy because I'd love for a guy like him to be an all-star. And, he never has been. And he's having the best statistical season of his career up to this point. So, would love for him to be an all-star. But if not, I understand. I'll just probably be I'll be very sad about it. Next guy up on my list is Grady Dick. So, if you guys have not been tuning into Raptors games, I understand. They have not had a lot of people playing. They have not had Scotty, not had Quickly, and RJ Barrett was out at the beginning of the year, but he's been playing, and he's actually been playing really well. But specifically, Grady Dick. So the game against the Pistons, don't talk about it. 4 of 17, disgusting, okay? But on the year, he's averaging almost 20 points a game, and he's getting to his spots. Efficiency is about the same as last year, about 43% from the field. So still want to get that up, but super aggressive. He's not the same catch and shoot player he was last year. He was like a spot up guy, kick it to him when he's open. And now it's the guy's running dribble handoffs, getting to the basket, and he's just kind of active all over the court. And I love seeing him actually control the ball instead of just, throw it to him in the corner, he's open, and he shoots it. I like seeing him actually create part of the offense and create his own looks, especially. He's very good at that so far. And with those guys out, it makes his job, essentially, it makes it harder. But you think of what he'll be able to do when Scotty and Emmanuel Quickly is back. Because if you think about it, he's kind of been playing like Quickly would. That kind of play style of aggression, attacking the basket, just flying to the rim. And Scotty Barnes being in the lineup as well will make his job so much easier because then he's not the number one threat. So then they have another guy that's capable of averaging 20 out there. So you have him, you have Grady Dick, you have Scotty, Quickly, RJ Barrett, all guys that are capable of averaging 20 now. That is insane because you think any given night, any of them can drop 20 on your head. Any of them can drop 25, 30 on your head. So I really like that Raptors team for that reason, but Grady Dick has been very, very good for them. Next guy I have on my list is Cade Cunningham. So Cade has been playing insane so far this season. My biggest thing isn't even just his play, it's that his play is leading to wins. Also partially due to Jaden Ivey getting a little more opportunity this year. So I really enjoy that they're playing as well as they are. He's averaging 23, 23, 7, and 8.5. And he's had, I want to say, 3 triple-doubles on the year already. So really, really great performances from him. Yes, 3 triple-doubles this year already. 3 from Cade. And he's been playing nuts. He's been scoring, getting downhill. Same with Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey has been getting downhill. So this is more about both of them, not just Cade. But both of these guys, you can tell, play like they really want to be there now versus, I think, also the coaching difference of JB Bickerstaff. He has already shown a difference, especially on that defensive side of the ball with some of these guys, but their biggest thing is their fourth quarter performances have just been very disgusting a lot of times. They will keep a game close for the first 3 quarters, and then they'll come out there and stink it up and lose by 12. So would love to see that more from this team. Other than that, there's not a lot bad to say about the Pistons, really, because they've been pretty good. So Pistons on the year, they are 6-8. And that's been their best start, I think, since, is it 2021 or was it 2019? I saw it somewhere on Twitter, so don't kill me if I don't know that one. But next one, the guy who was out last game, Evan Mobley. Offensively, huge leap from him. He's showing aggression. I told one of my friends the other day when I was talking about Evan Mobley, I was like, to me, he's like a baby version of Giannis because he's very aggressive, just attacks the basket, only shoots a 3 ball when he really has to, but super aggressive attacking that basket and just getting off the dribble, just dunking on him. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is what we needed. And that's exactly what he did. Everyone said he needed that aggression, offensive leap, and that's exactly what he did. So now he's just powering to the basket and no one could stop him. Against the Nets, he had 23 and 16 boards, 10 for 11 from the field. That's the stuff I'm talking about with this guy. And I think going forward, he keeps doing that. It makes everyone's job easier when he's willing to attack, because think about it like a prime Ben Simmons almost. I'm not saying they're the same player, but think about like prime Ben Simmons, okay? Even if you're not worried about his outside shot, he's still hard to guard if he's getting to the rim at will, because he's lengthy, he's fast, he's athletic. So a guy like Evan Mobley doing that, even if you're not worried about his three-point shot, him getting to the basket like that with incredible efficiency this season, that is very, very hard to stop. And now I would argue, actually the two biggest young guys that are taking the league by storm this year. One of them is 2 days into college. It's Jared McCain. Okay, Jared McCain has been insane. When Embiid and Maxey were out against the Cavs, he put 34 and 10 on their head. Offensively, he has been insane, and I think his game is very, very nice. Like, he almost does play like Maxey a little bit, but offensively, just seeing how aggressive he is now and confident that he has the ball in his hands, that's the guy I was not thinking of. Give him the rookie there. I'm sorry, Zach Edey. Jared McCain is cooking. Even with Embiid there, their last game, they played against the Magic. That's who it was. And Jared McCain was still the best player on the court for their team. He was the best. And I want to say he had 29 last game. But Jared McCain on the season, I just don't know why they weren't giving him a lot more opportunity to begin with. As you can see, 29 against the Magic, 10 for 17 on the season. 15 points, 47% from the field, and 40% from three. 40% from three for a rookie. Assist numbers have been going up with more playing time. So more playing time, more assist numbers, more opportunity, more of the ball in his hands instead of just forcing him to shoot an open catch and shoot three. Now they're actually letting him run some actions and stuff. And that's a big reason behind his numbers going up from there as well. He's been super, super consistent now these past couple games and shooting threes off the dribble and everything, attacking the basket, everything like that. Super good from him. And Jared McCain is my rookie of the year. I want him to win it. I do. So, last guy of my people I wanted to talk about, Dyson Daniels. Man, he has so many great performances already. I need to find the updated steals number because I had that he was averaging 3.6 steals a game, and it went up since then. So actually, he's averaging 3.8 steals a game. 6 steals last game. 6 steals a game before that. Before that, 6. Before that, 7. And it's just like, dude, he is so disruptive on that side of the ball. The thing is, I saw Pelicans fans on Twitter talking about him like he didn't answer any of our problems, but he answered you guys' problems. And I'm like, is that a fair assessment that he didn't answer the Pelicans' problems? But the Pelicans have a lot of problems. So is that really true? I don't think so. Because I think how he's playing right now would have been a big benefit to the Pelicans, especially offensively. But defensively has been incredible. And he has been leading this team's defense as a unit, point of attack defender. And I think without Trae Young as a team, their defense looks better. And with Keaton Wallace in that starting lineup as well. Shout out to Keaton Wallace. But he's starting the past couple games with Trae Young out, and now Trae Young's back. So we'll see how that goes. But defensively, Dyson Daniels, honestly, defensive player of the year right there. Give it to him. Because the level of wing defense we are seeing from him, guarding players 1 through 3, 4 at time, help defense steals, passing lanes, deflections. He's on pace to break the deflections record like by almost double. I think it's like 302 in a season, and he's on pace to have like 600. So that shows you right there how disruptive he is. So Dyson Daniels, man, give him the DPOY. I don't care. Some people will say, oh, Wembanyama deserves it or whatever, but I guess actually no, that makes sense because the Hawks are not going to be a top 10 defense most likely. If they are, though, I think he deserves DPOY, no doubt in my mind. So definitely give him that DPOY. I love watching Dyson Daniels. And the thing is, I personally am not a person to watch a lot of Hawks games, but with him on the court now, I actually do enjoy it a little bit more. And then, how far are we? 40 minutes. All right. So real quickly, I guess I want to go into my my most entertaining teams to watch so far this season. So I am taking the Thunder out of it because obviously that's my favorite team. So we're taking the Thunder out of it. So, one of those teams, actually, I'll say the most entertaining team for me to watch. It's kind of crazy, but it's the Kings. The Kings has been my most entertaining team to watch because of that shot creation of DeMar, De'Aaron Fox, and Malik Monk when he was playing. Those guys offensively are incredible and one of the most high-powered offenses in the league with so much shot creation, so many different options, and Sabonis as well being a playmaker and running those dribble handoffs. I think the Kings are probably my number one favorite team to watch, like most entertaining-wise. Number two, I'd have to give it to the Suns. So the Suns, Kevin Durant, when he's there, obviously not with this injury-riddled roster they're starting to have now, but their ball movement is something to really admire. Budenholzer as a coach has done a lot for this team, and just seeing them kind of share the ball. Last night, they were not themselves because they had to play so deep into their rotation, like guys like Iguodaro and stuff, like getting a lot of heavy minutes. But no, they haven't done a lot as of late because of the injuries. But the Suns are definitely my number two. My number three team this season has actually been the Toronto Raptors. They have been really, really fun. They've lost, but they're never bad losses. So they're 2-11. Okay, they are the bottom team in the East. But if you have tuned into a couple Raptors games, they keep them all close. Okay, they have so many really aggressive wings that like to attack the basket, like Ochai Agbaji. Super aggressive. Grady Dick has been playing well. RJ Barrett has been hooping as well. So RJ Barrett, some really, really good aggression from him. Getting to the free throw line, getting to the basket at will is one thing that I'm sure Knicks fans always wished he would have done more, is be more aggressive getting to the basket, which he's doing now for this Raptors team. So they're definitely my number three. I've really enjoyed it. And I think when Scotty comes back, it'll be even more fun just having a little bit more competitiveness because they'll be able to win some more games when Scotty comes back. Although what Jakob Poeltl said, maybe they won't because he said they're trying to tank. But that dude was out there. He had like 25 and 19 last night. I'm just like, where did that come from? But at number four, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors because obviously Steph Curry is going to be one of the most entertaining players to watch. He always will be. And I think just seeing him still play at the level he is and the roster they're building around him now, it's insane. I don't know how they do this, but they always find a way to make these Steph Curry rosters very competitive. When one thing goes wrong, they find a way. So, like, when they first picked up Wiggins, it's like, okay, Kevin Durant's gone. Boom, Andrew Wiggins. And then he was incredible. They won a ring with that team. And it's like, okay, now you have Buddy Hield. Is it like they're in championship contention because of how well they're playing right now? And seriously, the Warriors don't make sense to me, and they never will because it's like, the Warriors haters especially, it's so funny because they'll talk about the voodoo magic and all that stuff of the Steph Curry stuff. They relate it to the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. but they seriously can't be stopped right now. They can't. They're on a 3-game winning streak as well. They're second in the West, half a game behind the Thunder. So that's definitely a good sign for them. And I think for my fifth team, it's kind of a toss-up. The Bucks are definitely one of those teams that I've really enjoyed. The Jazz as well, I've enjoyed them, even though they're not always competitive. But when they have their players out there, and especially to start off the year, they did look good. Like with Lauri Markkanen, when he's playing, he's always good. I'm going to say it's between the Bucks and the Rockets. So the Bucks, the reason is because I think now they're starting to realize, okay, we're bad, and with Giannis, that 59-point performance to get them in overtime to beat the Pistons, I think that finally is going to wake them up a little bit. That'll push them up in the standings a little bit. They're 12th right now. I think that performance has to wake them up a little bit. You have to be like, okay, we're 4-8 with Giannis and Damian Lillard. We can't guard anybody. We're so slow getting back in transition. Nobody on this team can score. The bench is atrocious at times. AJ Green, he has good games, but he's really the only one that was coming off the bench doing much. And like Gary Trent had to, with Damian Lillard out, was huge in that Pistons game as well. But their bench has not been great, and the transition defense is atrocious, and it always is with this team. And the thing is, they got rid of AJ Griffin, a good coach, and got Doc Rivers, who comes in, neutralizes that transition defense problem, and now it's right back to where it was. So what was that? Was that even a coaching thing, or was that just the team? Was it because they were all buddy with Doc Rivers and they didn't like AJ Griffin? Because that was a big thing, was the actual, not the coaching, but the friendship and the partnership of the coach and the team was not great in Milwaukee. The relationship of him between the players. And now Doc Rivers, does he have a better relationship with the players? Maybe last year he did, but now I don't think so. I don't know if that's even the case. And Darvin Ham on that coaching roster too. Lakers fans are going nuts about that one. You already know all the stories from last year when he was on the Lakers. So, but other than that, no, they have just kind of been a mess. But they're always fun to watch because they have Giannis. It's one of those things. And same with like the Nuggets. The Nuggets are fun to watch because they have Jokic. But no, this NBA season has been okay so far. It hasn't been great just because of all the injuries and stuff. So if you had to pick one team aside from injuries who will take the league by storm and end up higher in the standings. So what I mean by that is, let's say you pick the Pelicans, right? This, if you did before the season, then probably pick someone else because their whole team's hurt. But who do you think's going to end up high in the standings compared to where people are going to be? That's my question for you guys for today. My personal pick is, you know what? I'm going to take the Kings. Okay. I think the Kings, with how bad some other teams have been, I think the Kings could realistically make it in the top 6 as long as they get their stuff together. They're just going to have to push out either the Lakers, Suns, or Rockets. The Nuggets, I think, will be there to stay. The Nuggets will be in that top 6 there to stay. So, but who do you guys think will be in that realm of exceeding expectations? I know some people think the Bulls. The Bulls have been competitive to start the year. The Hornets have been okay, but then they just have a lot of weird problems. Like Trey Mann being out too does not help them whatsoever. That's another injury. There you go. So injuries. That's the theme of this. Injuries, and then those young guys that we wanted to talk about that are taking the league by storm. So I appreciate you guys all tuning in. I was just trying to see if there's anything else I really wanted to talk about. I think there was a game. Let's see. The Pistons, no. Okay, the Mavericks and the Jazz. That's the game I want to talk about from the other night. Okay. I'm not a Luka super fan, but I don't hate him whatsoever. I do like him a lot. But that defensive mishap at the end of that game where he's standing there like this, and John Collins walks behind him, doesn't even really run. He walks behind him, and then he realizes, hey, he's not guarding me. He's like this. He walks behind him and gets an open dunk with like 8 seconds left, and I'm like, Luka, oh my God. So Luka has not been good in the clutch shooting-wise this season, and that defensive mishap, not even just that one, defensively, he's just looked kind of sluggish this season. So I also want to ask, if you guys are, any of you are Mavericks fans, let me know what you guys think of your team right now. I have so many weird feelings about this team. I know they're not at full health. Like, Kyrie was out for the Jazz game, but the Jazz are not a team you should be losing to. And the thing is, Gafford left the game for a little bit of an injury, but he came back. And it's just that Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George both were killing him in transition, which is one of the places where the Mavericks have not been as good this season. And I'm just saying, Luka is not great on transition defense, just because obviously he's one of those players that likes to get foul calls. So if he doesn't get one, and I'm not saying this against him anyway, I'm just saying if he doesn't get a foul call, a lot of times he'll argue with it instead of getting back. Jokic did that against the Thunder the first time they played, and Chet Holmgren took advantage of it. But stuff like that, this game, I thought this was a Jazz game to lose. Jordan Clarkson went nuts in the fourth quarter. Some really crazy shots, including like a super contested three where he kind of the defender bumps him, and he was very off balance, kind of chucked it up, goes in. And then after that, he bricked the three and airballed. He airballed 2 more shots. And I was just like, what are you doing? And then Keontae George turns the ball over. Cody Williams was forcing some stupid shots. I was like, okay, the Jazz are done. They lost. And somehow, some way, the lead came back to the lead came back, and it was like a tie game, and that does not make any sense to me why John Collins walks to the rim wide open. That should never, ever happen in the history of ever playing basketball. If you are a basketball coach and you were coaching this team and you watch that happen, oh my God. I could not imagine what the locker room was like. I can't imagine. Actually, I don't know, because I don't know if he would have really gotten on Luka about it, or if they expected something else to happen. Some people were saying they wanted Lively to pick him up, but that doesn't really make sense either, because then who was Quentin Grimes supposed to guard? I don't really know. So other than that, Filipowski had a good game for the Jazz. Started off 6 for 7 and 14 points from him. And John Collins played really well for this team as well. And I think he's one of those small ball centers that's actually really effective for this team, especially because he plays a little bigger than he is, and because he's so athletic that he can contest shots and get a lot of rebounds, which is exactly what he was doing, and a lot of second chance points from him this game, a lot of offensive boards. So shout out to the Jazz for winning that game over the Mavericks. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know if there's any other games I really wanted to talk about. Other than that, yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And let me know what you think down in the comments below. Anything you'd like for me to do, talk about, anything like that in the next episode. So I'll try to come up with some ideas of just some like fun stuff, some more involved than what this was, because this is just obviously just me just talking. But I was trying to think of like if there's any ideas of like, not like a game or something, but just like something I can kind of do that's a little more planned out, or like a little segment I can do. So just let me know if you have any ideas in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in to the Contested Jumper, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. So have a good rest of your day, guys, and see you then.